Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. Hey, thanks for checking me out. So, I'm Victor. Um, no, I don't have the corona. Hopefully not. So, just thought I'd talk to you about a couple things. I've been doing a lot of distance healing lately, and it's interesting because I prayed on the actually the night of the pink full moon. Wasn't that crazy? That pink full moon, and I prayed for more business, more ability to get in contact with people to help them doing distance healing. And I got in contact with a couple people, found me, and they got my services, which was really great. So it helped me and I helped them. A lot of people just do, I do a lot of things for free. For some people, it's a lot of work. It was a lot of work. And there's some real special stuff that I could do. And I asked for, larger donation, and they did, and that helps me out. So if you're ever interested, let me know. And anyway, so I was going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. I'm looking at something. Talk to you about the Mandela Effect. I've been thinking a lot about. I know a lot of people have been worried about it and thinking about it a lot. So I'm going to tell you what I know, and go from there. And we'll see what you think. Hopefully, you're not going to get mad at me. Oh boy, what a world! What a world we live in, right? It's crazy stuff. So I started getting into, I guess the Mandela Effect in 2015. I saw an article on the web about it, and it was first one was about the Kit Kat, and I was like, what's this? The Kit Kat. So I looked at the Kit Kat, and where's the dash? So the dash was missing, and that really freaked me out. And then I started reading all the other ones, and then they all the Mandela effects. In this article, I realized that I started like it was like out of focus, and it was in focus. So it ended up being very strange. And then I noticed that the map was changing. It all like happened real fast. It was like bam. And so I was a little flipped out by it. In fact, a lot of flipped out, and I had it was very disorientating for me. I had a disconnect, you could say. Hard for me to function for a while. I just couldn't understand, and I kept trying to come up like everybody else, different theories and different things. One of the theories that I've always been banging around in my mind, the theory that really was the scariest in a way, because it leads to another thing. And one of those theories was that what if I was doing it? What if I'm in a computer simulation? What if I'm the only one being simulated, and what if everybody else is part of that program, but I'm the one being simulated? Or what if everybody's being simulated, and what if that's what's going on, and that I basically found out, and that's what's causing the glitch, or something to that effect. So not the corona. So I got a little, worried about that, and I started really thinking about the simulation theory. I didn't talk about this really before on my channel, but simulation theory really, I watched we're talking about Bill Gates a lot in the news, but I was watching Gates, who did that whole simulation theory where he said quantum, and if he looked at the world and he saw that it was basically based on computer code. So that kind of blew my mind a lot. I kept watching that video over and over, and so I thought maybe the world is built a little bit like a computer code, and if that's the case, maybe somehow I hacked it. Maybe I'm hacking it by my spiritualness, or maybe, it's just hard to figure these things out. So I ran some tests. The tests were, I thought, very innovative, and I just always tried different things. One, one of the things was I put myself into like a trance state, and I was on the computer building a graphic through the TV, and it was a hexagon. I stared at the hexagon for a bit of time, but before I did that, I'm sitting pretty close to where I was, and I meditated with a crystal. Here's a crystal. This crystal, in fact. And I meditated with that, and I went and stared at the hexagon for a while. I came back in the room, and then the I don't know if you can see, but right by the 60, you could see that the hexagon embedded itself into the crystal. Now, I wouldn't have bought it. This is $60 for this crystal. It's a really nice big crystal. I wouldn't have purchased a crystal if it had that mark on it. I wouldn't have bought it. And I know the crystal really well, and it didn't have that before. So I thought, maybe my thoughts are connected somehow and embed itself in the crystal like frequency and baked it in. So I was like, okay, maybe that's it. One of the other experiments that I did was, I wasn't sure, but I took another prism, and I looked at the prism, and I refracted the light into different colored spectrums. This is a spiritual scientist channel, so that's what you're going to get from me, right? Science and spirituality combined. So I took the crystal, I refracted the wavelengths of light, and looked at the specific frequency. Let's say, and I've done it many times, but let's say I looked at it and it was green. So I looked at the green, and then I went and made a design on the TV with the computer program. And then later on during the day, I noticed manifested was this weird green insect with the pattern that I came up with. So I was like, okay, so that's like, it's like synchronicity, you could say. So it's like, okay. So then I came up with that. So I said, okay, I'm going to do another test. So I did a different color wavelength of spectrum of the rainbow. And then we had the Mandela effect of that valley. There was a valley, which was all like rainbows. So then I came up with more tests. I kept doing the prism light, and the rainbows actually came up being very weird. This was a while ago I did these tests. So then we had the rainbow, then a different rainbow, then a double rainbow, and then all these other rainbows. And every time I would do one of these tests with the prism light, the rainbows would happen, these different rainbows. And then now there's 21 different rainbows. So I said, okay. So I started thinking, what other kind of tests can I do to show that I'm manifesting reality. So I'm basically at that level of manifestation, and then I started meditating. And I teach meditation, so I'm a very spiritual guy. So I meditated, a lot, and I thought about it. And then I do comedy. So I'm a lot. I do a lot. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do. I said, what if Michael Jackson? What's the craziest thing? I did a video about it. I said, what's the craziest thing you could think of? I said, Michael Jackson like a monkey. I don't know, because he liked monkeys. It's Michael Jackson. So I combined those in my mind, and then I Googled them, and then there was a monkey that looked like Michael Jackson. I'm sorry, but it was my idea, and then reality morphed, and there he was. There that monkey was. So that kind of was astonishing, and that was direct manifestation like that, right? So what else can I do? What else experiments can I come up with? There were these lightning bugs that were in the. There's different types of lightning bugs. There only used to be one type, but I created these different lightning bugs that were really neat up in or the Rocky Mountains. You could Google it, I guess, and find out. And then I've done on my channel all these different animals. What I didn't mention before is they were a lot of them were part of my test where I was manifesting them. I specifically don't know sometimes. I feel like it goes to the insect world first with the manifestations of how I'm manifesting different changes. And what I've noticed is that I really got down into it, and then I felt like I was at that level of manifestation, and I felt another awareness. And we had this conversation in symbols and ideas of what I wanted to manifest next, and it's pretty amazing. But so I got a little nervous about the whole thing, of course. So I thought I started something I labeled the Mars Project. So the Mars Project was my idea, and what is terraforming Mars. I thought, well, if I could really do something, let's start big, right? And let's get away from the Earth. Don't want to screw up the Earth. Let's do a terraforming project. So, not Corona. So I just dry. So I hopefully it's not. So I tried that. Now I did the Mars project, and it started doing different things with Mars. There was a lot with Mars. You might notice that now Mars has blue skies. So pat on the back. That was part of, and I'm just part of the process. That was my input. Now, I did in another video where I did do one of the words, one that changed. I was worried that if I came out with a video like this, maybe the government would come and put me in a cell or something and say, hey, let's do tests on them. You see all these movies. So I said, what can I do to put the fear of God into anybody that wants to come after me or do something against me if they really believe that this is happening? And I said, I know, I'll change the word FBI, or I'll change the word CIA, or I'll change one of those things. Ended up being, the word surveillance changed. So I was thinking about like the Mandela Effect, and I was like, these words are just disappearing. And as I typed the word disappear, the word disappear changed and ended up being a different word with two P's. I'm not the best speller, obviously, because oh, never mind. But anyway, dry. Maybe I'll have the coronavirus and then. Anyway, so I did that. So I was a little worried about coming out in public and talking about this, about what these changes are, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But I wanted to come up with it and talk to people and let them know that it's okay. Now I know, the biblical changes and what happened. I can't say that I'm 100% certain that I've done all these changes myself. Like, I'm not doing them me, through me, but it's not like me. Now, the biblical changes, I do not like, that I'm against. Every one of them, I don't like. And I would say that the changes that I didn't like any changes really, but the changes that were interesting were the animal changes. Those are pretty neat sometimes. Or the rainbow is kind of cool, but I mean, for the most part, I didn't like any of this. And what I'm saying is I'm sorry if I had anything to do with biblical changes at all. That wasn't my intention. And my gut tells me that I'm part of source creation. Like, I'm at that manifestation level where I'm integrated into that, but I'm like, I don't think that was my, quote unquote part. Like, that wasn't me. That's like more demonic. And I did cough after I said the word demonic. Doesn't mean I'm demonic. Let's not read into all this, right? But I'm very aware of biblical prophecies of what I'm talking about, and very aware of coming out in public and talking about it. I've decided not to feel fear about it, and I've decided to talk about it in a public forum so we can all kind of figure this out together in a positive manner. I do distance healing. I do spiritual mentoring. I do healing in person. I teach meditation. I try to be, doing always the right thing is super important. Trying to always do the right thing and then doing it, right? And now is the time to really come together and not be afraid. I know a lot of people are out there afraid of this coronavirus and afraid of what's going on. What I'm going to try to do is use that ability to stop this coronavirus. I think I know it's possible. So that's what I'm thinking. But I wanted to talk to people and tell people that I'm here, and that I know that I'm responsible for a lot, if not all, the Mandela effects. Now, You're going to say to yourself, how did that happen? There's a couple things, but I know I've always been able to do certain things my whole life, and so nothing's changed for me except my awareness. Um, but there are some things that by praying and fasting, doing all those things, that now I'm able to do healings more and all those kind of good things. So, a lot of people are going to say, negative things against me, saying it's evil, manifesting things. You know, I don't think people should judge, um, you know, what this is until they understand. And then there's a lot of like I was saying, biblical prophecy, and I understand, all the ramifications of what I'm saying, lying signs and wonders and all this other stuff. Am I the Antichrist? Am I the Christ? Is this whatever? I'm not here to say anything about, who I am. I'm just telling you that I know that with the tests I did and everything, it's true. So I know that I'm affecting these changes in our reality. I've known I can manipulate, use that word, reality for a very long time. But like the apocalypse is like an unveiling. So I'm coming out in public and saying that I'm have the ability to manifest, and part of the speeding up process of the ascension, part of the awakening, part of this has to do with the understanding of higher dimensional mechanics and understanding more about space and time. And space and time relates to matter is a big equation, part of that. Now, when our thought processes are more higher in tuned to the quantum field of space and time, understanding all this, what I'm saying to you is that I think that this is something that can maybe be teachable, and I could teach other people how to, do these things. There are some people who have the ability to change their eye color. But, I've been working on this, I guess, for a long period of time. So what I'm saying to you is that, have an open mind, be positive, and don't jump to any conclusions from what I'm saying. I think that's the best case scenario, is to stay positive. But what I'm saying to you as well is time is a big factor with everything. Like, time is huge of what's going on, a huge process. So time is actually time is how these things are, a lot of these things are changing. Time and space. So time's a big part. I can't stress that enough. And I did some equations, taking a fact, the vibration of a crystal in relation to how they used to vibrate to how they vibrate now. So the faster we move forward in time, the slower a crystal seems to vibrate. You see? So when we see a vibration change of 2,400 times per second is what I've determined. I talked about this before. In a crystal, it means that our frequency, as our frequency rises, in relation, we're going faster in time as a vibration. It's not exactly sorry. It's not exactly what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is that the time seems to be a very integral part of this. So as in creation, my awareness went up to the level of time and space as a higher dimensional construct. And when you get up to that vibrational frequency of that level, you get to the manifestation part, and then you manifest what you're thinking. So, like the double slit experiment, we have the ability to take apart, our reality and assemble it through the mind, and it's that I want to teach people how to get to that spiritual level where you could, get all the things you want and create the reality that you want and that you deserve, and that everything. That's what I'm hoping to do. I just want to say, it's all, I think we could come out of this positive. I think it's a positive thing. If you have questions, let me know. I don't want to sound crazy. Too late for that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think.